The situation here is the condos, the office condos, guys, turning them over to office condos. You can get office condos approved. Write this down. Office condos approved in as little as 90 to 120 days in certain places, even like Texas. And guys, that's called per door. That's what that's called. Regardless if you're doing condos, regardless if you're doing apartments, multifamily, regardless if you're going to go ahead and rent out building units inside of a building for retail space. It's all called per door. That's what they want to know. What's the price per door if you're going to be selling units? Okay, what's the price per door? Remember, there's the mix, and then there's the price per door. The mix is how many bedroom, how many bath, and the price per door is what the unit's going to cost if you're selling them individually as condos. So office condos are very, very powerful. Don't discount office condos. Okay. Remember, guys, we're not sitting there going through the whole process of dolling them up and putting in, office tech furniture and modular furniture and selling them like that. It's all about getting the plans approved. That's paper. That's just a paper push, getting it done on paper, taking that one piece of paper and saying, okay, it's done. I got office condos now. I'm going to go ahead and sell this off to somebody who can come in and make it happen. That's what we're doing, all right? Now, mobile home parks to RV pads. Again, you can rent out some of the pads, sell the pads, do a combination of both. We talked about that. Some said sell, some said rent. There's no wrong answer. Sell if you want to sell if the price is high, right? Or go ahead and rent if the income's right. But I'll take income stream over lump sums of cash any day because the cash flow is where it's at. It's all about the cash flow. Mobile homes to mobile home pads. Auction or donate your trailer, rent out the pads, or both. So when you're going to go ahead and scrape off a mobile home park, remember, you got income producing from a mobile home park, so you have the income while, get this, while you're changing it to its highest and best use. Is that great? Most people don't like mobile homes because they think they're less sexy. They think the wobbly boxes, the big ugly ones. And back in my residential days, I actually had quite a few people respond to some direct mail that I was doing, and they owned mobile home parks. Not parks, mobile homes in the park. And they just wanted to sell me the home, the little round tube. And I was like, what am I going to do with that thing? And they're like, it's worth $15,000. I'll sell it to you for $9,000. Like, I don't want it. And I talked to one guy, and I was joking around with him, and I said, well, how much repairs does this thing need anyway? He's like, well, since my divorce, there's about 7, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm like 5, 6, 7, 8 holes in the wall. No thanks. All right. And these pads, to go ahead and create a pad, write this down, it's about $20,000 to create a pad. That's, guys, just creating a pad, hooking up little utilities to it, the plugs, okay? Hooking that up, 20 grand to create, and you could get anywhere between 300 all the way up to even to 900 or more, but the average is really between about 300 to 600 in rent. It's got low expenses, write that down. It does. It's got very low expenses. Just to maintain the land, it's super cheap. Super cheap. And on-site management, super cheap too, because the manager is going to live in one of the little homes, and they just manage the whole property. Easy to sell to tenants who own trailers, and the reason being is because they don't skip out on the rent in the middle of the night. All right. How's time, John? So I want to go ahead and get through something here for you. We talked about speaking about the different types of properties. There's 2 types of properties in my world. There's pretty property and there's ugly property. Guys, you know me. I simplify it so everything that I do is made easy. I make it easy for you because most people think commercial is this big, huge animal that I can't tame. I can't get in there and make it happen. Well, guys, debunk those myths now. Again, healthy skepticism is great. You guys have arrived. And the way to get started is to stop talking and begin doing. Okay? That's the way it works here. You're here. We begin doing. But I just want to bring to your attention that there is truly 2 types of property, even though we've discussed realizing upside. All right? So Number one is the problem properties, and I call this the ugly properties. Now, when we're talking about ugly properties, these are problem properties that have highly vacancies. They got high vacancies. Most people, again, they look at property that's got high vacancy, and they know that it becomes a liability. It becomes a liability because it's offset on its income, meaning that it's negative on its cash inflows, and there's too much cash outflows. When there's too much cash outflows, obviously we have negative income. We don't want negative income. We want positive income. That's right. Now, low rents are another thing because people understand in conventional wisdom that they buy property because of the appreciation factor with conventional wisdom, and we do not buy property for appreciation factor. We buy property for equity at closing and the tremendous upside and the cash flow. So we understand the way conventional wisdom buys, and they buy because commercial is always stable and it's always going up. And since it's always going up, remember that people retire early and they still live off of the income stream, and they forget to get in there and raise the rents. So these property have low rents. And also rundown condition because they're neglected as well, because people who retire sometimes go from one place to another, and possibly it could be Florida, it could be Bahamas, it could be moving closer to their family and friends. When people retire, they usually uproot and they end up somewhere else for the most part. And even if they don't, they still live off the income stream. Even if they live right down the street from the property, they live off the income stream, and they let the management do what they do best, which is just manage the property. And what happens is management does not have vested interest unless they're a partner in the deal. So then they neglect, and then it gets run down. This one's a problem property, assisted living center, 150 plus beds. The appraised value is $2.8 million. We paid $750,000. That's 25% of appraised value. Is that a good deal so far? It gets better. Conservatively, it's worth $10 million leased up. That equals 40 cents on the dollar. Guys, that's $6 million in equity. One deal, you can retire for life. You're done. $6 million in equity. All right. This is the appraisal. That's $2.8 million. And here you can see the amendment to commercial contract for sale. This is one of my entities, which is Legacy Commercial. Of course, I'm here to leave a legacy behind. That's why I'm teaching, and I'm continuing to move forward with my students. $750,000, that's 25% of appraised value. And this is a picture of the ugly box just sitting there in the path of progress, just sitting there. Again, this was purchased from an individual who was playing in the game already of commercial. He went ahead and made some money from a project, and so he didn't have to pay capital gains taxes. He went ahead and took that money, and he had to go ahead and recognize another property quickly to do a 1031 tax deferred exchange. So he went to an auction. He doesn't know what you guys know. He doesn't know how to calculate value. He doesn't know how to calculate expenses. He doesn't know the BS factor we discussed, the Murphy factor, right? So what he did was he forgot some zeros, and he purchased this thing with $300,000 in his mind that it would take to renovate. It turned out to be $3 million. It's a mistake. That's a t-shirt that he's got that we're not going to get. So that's what made him motivated to go ahead and allow us to buy it at 25% of appraised value and turn the thing around. We bring in the professionals to do what they do best. You get rid of the hole in the wall, the hole in the roof, the damaged commercial kitchen, the damaged floors, the offset floorboards from the wear and tear, the walls that had mold in it, all by writing a check. Because we know that drumming in and pulling in the capital to get this thing up and running, when it's conservatively worth $10 million at the end of the day, is 40 cents on the dollar. Anybody here would like to do the deal, correct? It's a no-brainer deal. And the next type are pretty. You got the ugly. That building is ugly. All right, I've seen all the interior pictures. I've not been to the property. I've not met the broker face-to-face. I don't ever want to. And we're going to go ahead and share with you some additional audio a little bit later on a pre-record when I spoke with the broker. And you can go ahead and listen to how the broker reacted to our discussion through negotiation. So it'll be very powerful for you a little bit later. Now, here's pretty property, motivated owners. Commercial property, they go into financial problems too. Sure they do, because people get together and they throw their money together without a clear exit strategy. And they just don't understand that partnership agreements are very important. You need to have the right partnership agreement in place. Otherwise, you're going to end up with here, number 4, which is feuding partners. Now, health issues, like I said before, people purchase on appreciation, so they own property for a long period of time. And it's unfortunate, but some people do get health issues. And especially if they've been managing property for a long period of time and they have health issues, they're going to be super grumpy. They're going to want to get rid of the property. And that's motivated. Also foreclosure as well, because they do. Properties can go into foreclosure because, again, they don't have the right exit strategy. There's inherent risk in anything and everything we do, regardless of what type of real estate it is, regardless of driving down the street. I was driving, I went home last night and driving in the rain. And I drive real slow in the rain for a reason. Because people that don't drive in the rain, once it is raining, they don't understand that oil surfaces and oil and water do not mix, right? So when partners don't mix, you get the feuding partners as well, all right? You got to make sure that you're doing business with people that want to do business with you. When you have 4 individuals on the phone and number 5 won't ever get on the phone, that's motivation enough. That means people aren't getting along. And that's problem owners. 48 unit, A+ condition assisted living facility, 4.4 million purchase. Don't lose me on the numbers. It's irrelevant if it's 44,000, 440,000, 4.4 million, or even if it was 14.4 million. The bigger dollars that you work with, the more stick to you. That's just the way it works in my world. The exit strategy is to double the income in 3 to 6 months with new management. And the reason being is the management that was in place were the people that owned it, which were the 5 partners. And when I negotiated this deal, 4 of the partners were on the phone, and I said, when is the next partner coming on the phone? They said, he'll never be on the phone. And I said, feuding partners. I love feuding partners. They want to sell. One person's armchairing, not doing anything, and the other person is out there working his tail off, managing the property. Okay? That's the way it works. So the new value is going to be $9 million. That's $4.6 million in new equity. One deal, you're done. 25% private money, which is driven from OPM. What's OPM? Never a shortage of it. Plus 75% loan, and this loan happened to be, it started off non-recourse, then we brought in a credit partner. But it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant if you bring in a credit partner, folks, to go ahead and assign for a loan like this, somebody who's got perfect credit, somebody who's got merit, because they're also in the business of assisted living. By bringing them in, that's 100% financing. Now, we could sell it, but why sell something like this? Remember I said before, you can sell, but why sell when you can refi? You can take the equity out, that goes into HIP National Bank, then you have the monthly income coming through. This one's going to be kicking off a little over $30,000 monthly cash flow, and here's a picture of it. Let me go ahead and show you this picture for those of you who haven't seen this, because this is so very powerful to see that pretty properties are truly pretty. You see that? These are purple couches. This is the living area over here. They got an armoire over here. They got their bedroom in here, plenty of lighting for them. They can do their reading and their stuff. They got additional sitting chairs. They got little microwaves, little area to hang out. They also got little sunken in tubs. As you can see, they have some things here that assisted living will require, which are additional railings, things of that nature. Write this down. It's got to be up to code. If you're dealing with assisted living, it's got to be up to code. It's not you checking those code ordinances. It's the professionals. It's bringing in the professionals that run these facilities that know it, right? And I always like to say, guys, we're all going to end up on one of these things. You might as well own it. All right? Might as well own it. So this is the type of property, guys. I call this one the Ritz-Carlton of assisted living, because truly it's spectacular. And when we go over executive summaries, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about this one in detail as well. All right. Now, I'm showing you guys some great deals. But in the same retrospect, I do want to show you what to stay away from, because I think that that's equally as important. Don't you? I think it's really, really important to understand what we do truly have to stay away from. That way, when you're looking at these things and you go, this looks like a great deal, I think we should do this deal. I want to give you an example now of a deal that you should stay away from, and the reason being is because it easily could be mistaken as a deal, but it is truly a dud. All right? This one is 170 units assisted living facility. The purchase price was only $1.2 million. Is that okay? Guys, some of the prices of the homes here in California and across the nation are much more expensive. I mean, they're like, you know, $1.5 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million. In Malibu, I mean, the houses there are absolutely ridiculous. I wonder why people would ever spend $27 million on a house. It's like, how many bedrooms and bathrooms do you need? Do you ever even go use that bathroom? You know, some of these houses are like just monstrous. And, you know, I mean, my house is 5-bedroom, 4-bath. I got an elevator in it. And I use the elevator because it's just almost 4 stories. So I get tired of walking up the stairs, right? I mean, I got a stair system in my house. It's all stairs. That's my Stairmaster. I go up and down and up and down and up and down constantly. But it's great because it goes all the way down to the garage, my double car garage, and it goes all the way up to the very top. The beautiful views of the whole ocean. And I could justify my house because I use my space. I got an office. I got a gym. I got a spare bedroom for my mother-in-law. I got another bedroom for somebody else that wants to come over, right? I got my master. I got a living room, dining room. I got my space. I got multiple decks. I use my living space. There's not one part of my home that I do not use, but some of these people, they use monstrous space. So the price is driven through the sky for extra space. I don't know. It's a competition thing where I live. I don't get it. But 1.2 million purchase price, guys, for commercial property. This truly is not an expensive property. 40% seller financing for 36 months. Is that a good deal? Guys, 40% seller financing is fabulous. 36 months, that's a short period. It truly is. Some of you might think that 3 years is a long time. It is when you say 3 years. What's longer, 3 years or 36 months? It's psychology. 36 months is always shorter. 8.2 million for a 12-month conversion. It was going to take 12 months to do this conversion. Now, we sent off our assisted living specialist to take a look at this property as well. She said it's going to take 8.2 million to do the conversion. If we can get it done in 12 months, and it's going to be where 35 million bucks will be the new value, and that's 26 million in equity. Is that a good deal? On the face front, it is a good deal, guys, but remember, we want to get in, get out, get rich. We want to do deals with speed and ease. This one turned out to be too remote, and it took way too much capital. Way too much capital. We can take $8.2 million to put it into a deal, and even though there's a lot of money at the end of the day, let me show you what we're up against. It's too remote, guys. It was too far out in the sticks. This particular property, you can see how long it was on the market. It was on the market for a long time. Can't tell you how many times people drove by this thing and said, when are they going to do something with that ugly box? It was set for assisted living. It needed it needed to be re-gutted. Have you guys ever looked at a home in residential and said to yourself, too much work for me? Basically, you should just knock the thing down and start from scratch. Now, remember, I just got through saying something. I don't want you to think I'm contradicting what I'm saying here. I just got through saying that property, I'd prefer to get into property that's existing. Okay, remember I said that. And I'd prefer to go ahead and take over existing debt than to go rebuild new property, build new property from ground up, going vertical, right? Or creating new debt by trying to drum new debt and package and get new debt. But, guys, there's also a breaking point. And here's the breaking point. Take a look at it. Ugly's ugly, and then there's just straight, I don't know what the heck's going on with this thing. All right? This property not only was in need, it was all boarded up. It had a lot of issues, and the 8.2 million will cover it, but it was just way too far out in the sticks. And we're concentrating on 3 other assisted living at the same time. And we had to choose to get one out. And this one happened to be the one that got cut. Didn't meet the cut. So she said, look, Terry, we can go ahead and take this one down too. It's not a problem. Financing's in place. Let's move forward and do it. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Out of all the properties that we're working on, which one is the one that we can't get done with speed and ease? She said, this one. I said, which one's going to be my biggest potential headache? Even though I can cure, because I never want a headache that I can't take aspirin for. She said, this one. I said, let me ask you a question. She said, yeah. And I said, how quick do you think you could go ahead and send a notice of cancellation to the seller? She said, 5 minutes. I said, done. Talk to you later. She said, bye, Terry. Click. That's it, guys. I want deals with speed and ease. I want you to do deals with speed and ease. You see the money at the end of the day on this project. It's too remote. It's too remote. I don't want to get into deals where you got to spend tons of time, too low population, too much capital. It's just not low-hanging fruit, okay? So what we're going to do is this. We're going to take just take a sec. I just want to go ahead and mention one last thing here. Properties Properties that we're getting into, and I mentioned over and over, low-hanging fruit, creme de la creme, top 1% deal, the low-hanging fruit. I keep saying low-hanging fruit. I just want you guys to understand that this project just took too much. We want the projects that we can get in there and just hit a base hit. Just get in there and just do a little tap and make the money. Just like Kevin's deal. How easy was Kevin's deal? 10 units, $315,000 purchase price, worth 1.3 when the rents were up. After that came in. Who here can do that deal, guys? Everybody's hand should go up, unless you're just a lazy investor. Your hand should still go up. So focus on the deals that we can get in there, the deals that we can create that additional revenue. Go ahead and utilize the system of what you've learned to this point. Get these deals moving forward and get them going, okay? All right, guys, get in. So.